Now, the SABC has issued a statement warning that attacks on the corporation are affecting its business relations with partners and could lead to retrenchments of staff members. The SABC says at 2%, government's contribution remains minuscule in comparison to the costs that it faces. The corporation has cautioned that the collapse of its finances is imminent if due care is not exercised in dealing with the confidentiality of contracts with its strategic partners. The SABC says utterances made by various individuals and organisations at the Parliament's ad hoc committee into the SABC board have negatively portrayed the SABC, and this has had an adverse impact on revenues in the form of payment of TV licenses, advertising spent, and with strategic partners. Well, to discuss, we're joined by the SABC's spokesperson, Kaizer Kganyago. Thank you for joining us, Kaizer. So this will unsettle staff. Are there any retrenchments yet?
No, we are not talking about retrenchments. All that we are warning on is the fact that when we have got this backlash around our credibility that is put out, like what happened in the ad hoc committee and the questioning of some of our strategic partners' contract, create an impression that finances are not in a good state, and that will affect us. And if that happens, that's why we say might lead to possible retrenchment. We are not at any stage where we are saying we're going to retrench staff.
Are we talking a matter of weeks, months? How dire is the situation? There were reports that we're in reserves, only 174 million in December, when we need way more than double that, 650 rand just to pay the monthly payments.
Yeah, the unfortunate part is people are just making mathematics like 650 minus 174. That is not how things are run in this organization. When we have got reserves are made to be available in case we need them. Therefore, we are saying now, because of the financial situation that we find ourselves in, we have got to now dip into the reserves. And that is what is happening. But we are saying if these attacks are continuing, plus the fact that we have got a situation where nationally or internationally, the people are withdrawing their funding in terms of advertising spend and so on, and that affects us automatically. That is why we have dipped into our reserves. But we are saying people must be cautious about how they deal with business and what they say, because if you are starting to question the partnerships that we do, then those people decide not to continue with the partnerships that we have, and this is how we make revenue.
Sure, but we have to be transparent. If there is a concern, are you able to tell us how much we have in reserves? If these reports are true, people are saying surely suppliers are not being paid?
No, we have not reached a stage like that, because people must also understand. That's why I'm saying simplistic to just minus this to that, because we collect revenue on a month-to-month basis. Therefore, to just be simplistic, if you were to go with what is written by the article, you will just think that we don't have the money, but we are able at this stage. If you have read the statement, you will see in the statement we mentioned that for now, we are able to fulfill all our commitment in terms of payment of staff, in terms of payment to the people that we owe and so on. We're doing that on a month-to-month basis. We don't have a crisis, but we are saying we can warn in advance to say, if this continues, the partnerships that we have with people are going to collapse, because people believe that they are going to be attacked in public like it has happened, and that might lead to a financial collapse on the SABC.
Should there not be some stability coming in? New board members, this ad hoc committee is now over, and some people would say it's been a good airing of what's wrong with the corporation. We can now move on to a better situation.
We can only hope, because at the end of the day, we are the only public service broadcaster that is here in the country. And a lot of people depend on us for news, for information, for entertainment. Therefore, we can only hope that our appeal is listened to, and people will stop to attack our partners, because some of the people, for example, are doing it deliberately because of the kind of interest that they have. Therefore, we are saying to the people, let's not do that, because we want a thriving, good corporation as in the SABC.
Kaizer, I understand what you're saying about sentiment. I feel it as well. But are we not passing the buck by blaming people who are raising issues about the SABC, which is a corporation that belongs to South Africa, should be important for everybody? And we do have decisions that have been made in the past, for instance, 90% local content, which apparently did lead to a loss in advertising revenue, sponsorship revenue. Are we not playing the blame game here and not taking responsibility?
Not at all. We are not blaming anyone per se, but we are saying people must be careful. People can criticize us if they want to criticize us, but there is no scientific proof, for example, that the 90% is the reason why there is a reduction of revenue in terms of advertising, because that is an international phenomenon at the present moment. People are reducing, and it's not only us. Print media are suffering the same kind of spate, and everybody else, because people are reducing the advertising revenue because of the collapses of the finances throughout the world. Therefore, at the end of the day, criticize us, but do not put us in a position where the kind of criticism are labeled in such a way that they give an impression that nothing goes wrong. And I always say to people that the SABC, in the 11 years that I've been here, have never had a single day where there is nothing on air, both radio and television. It means something is going right. And this organization is about broadcasting. And that's all that we should be measured around. And the other thing that we are mentioning, for example, we are saying the cost of mandate. We have got mandate that is given to us, but it is not funded. Therefore, it means we must take money from our reserves to fund the mandate. I'll give you a simple example. The elections, for example, they were not funded. We had to take money of the SABC to fund the elections because people have to get the delivery of this important thing called the elections. Therefore, we have got to do all that we have to do. But at the end of the day, we are saying be careful about what you do, because we have got relationships that we are building, that where we get sponsorship from people. If you start scrutinizing some of these things unfairly so, therefore you are putting those relationships in jeopardy.
Are people being unfair, though, because 5.1 billion rand reported in irregular spending? Can we blame people outside the corporation for affecting our finances?
Let us go back to what irregular means, because the impression is given that irregular means people have eaten the money. And then that is not the case. And I'll give you a simple example. If we buy content and the PFMA says, for example, that you need to, the people that you are buying from must give you the original of the tax certificate. And you find that the person who did this big deal of buying this content only got a copy. That becomes irregular. The whole transaction becomes irregular. But it doesn't mean you have not used the content for what it was supposed or bought for. Therefore, those are some of the things. But also the other thing that people are not being told is the fact that this 5.1 billion is not in one financial year. It comes back many financial years. It's because it was not reported on at that time, or it wasn't found out when they were dealing with the issues. We went back and we are declaring from as far back as 2008. And all of that accumulated has to be reported somewhere. And it was reported in the last financial year. And that way, we are able to be transparent to the people of South Africa and say, this is what happened. But irregular doesn't mean the money was taken and used unfairly for anything wrong.
All right, now, to what extent are we seeing a dip in advertising? Can you quantify it yet? Because we do reach a vast audience, and some people only access certain media platforms. They only listen to the SABC. So the argument could be surely advertisers would be interested.
No, it's a simplistic way of dealing with it. If advertisers decide that they are reducing their costs, it's not because of the SABC. They're reducing their costs because there's a dip in the markets. And they decide the first place they go to, and that is fact, they reduce communication and marketing. And if they reduce that, they do not have enough money to spend with us, regardless of whether you've got the numbers or not. Therefore, at the end of, that's why I'm saying it's not only the SABC that is suffering this, the industry is suffering, whether it's print media or whatever. But also you must remember that we also have other alternative revenues that are coming, platforms that are coming out that are competing for the same revenues. But at the end of the day, we are saying we are taking the share that we need to take from this. But if the monies that are there are not enough. Therefore, I can't quantify at this present moment as to how much, but we are saying that is one thing that happens. But for an example, when people are made to believe that everything is going wrong at the SABC, people are publicly going out to say we are not going to pay for our television license. And that affects our revenue. And those are the things that we're questioning people around.
My final question, we're running out of time. Given that we've had years of losses, can we say this is a new situation based on the ad hoc committee? And is the SABC speaking to Treasury or anybody about a possible bailout?
We have never asked for any bailout ever since I was here, even before. And people keep on saying SABC got a bailout, and I don't know where they're getting it from. What we were asked at the time in 2009 was a government guarantee. And what that meant was that we were going out to the markets, to the banks, to loan the money like we do as a course of business. But government was coming in to say, in a case you are unable to pay, we will come in. But that never happened. We were able to pay back the money the way we were supposed to pay it, and even before the time that we were supposed to pay it in. But from where we are sitting, we are comfortable that we are able to run and do whatever needs to be done. But as the SABC, we are saying, because what we are saying now is not referring to the previous financial year. The previous financial year has come and gone. Here is a new financial year that is ending the end of this month. But we are talking futuristically. We are saying in future, we must be careful about how we do things to not make us lose revenue unnecessarily.
All right, we have to leave it there. Thank you for answering those questions. That was the SABC's Kaizer Kganyago.